Alright, gonna look at Avalanche today. Just the very basics of it, setting a graphic up with the rundown manager, looking at outputting it over SDI, and just the process there involved to get a basic graphic on air. It's still a little buggy, to be expected, so there'll be a few hiccups along the way, but hopefully it's useful, and I'm working on a bigger series for Avalanche in live broadcast down the line once 5.4 officially releases and most of these bugs have been ironed out. But I thought I'd get something out in the meantime just so you guys can start to see how it works. Alright, so I've designed my graphic in Blender thanks to Luke Harris. Go check him out if you haven't already. Made it look a lot nicer. And I've transferred that into Avalanche here. And I've converted all of the text into Avalanche text and stuff like that, so it's all dynamic now. The player is using a Avalanche material, all this text is actual text components now, all that good stuff. And so we're going to have a look at how we can use remote control and the rundown manager to create some presets for a bit of a show, for example. So the first thing I'm going to do is go ahead and open the remote control, just in the button up there, and I'm going to start adding everything I want to change. So I want to change the name, so Patrick Mahomes. I'm going to change the teams playing, so KC and SF. I'm going to change this in the background. So originally I was just straight using the 3D mesh, but sadly or annoyingly it didn't let me, even though I could expose the static mesh in the remote control preset, it did not update for some reason. So I just made a blueprint that just has a number here that I change and it updates the mesh instead, just on the event graph. It's like pretty simple. Oh, sorry, construction script. There you go. So we add a static mesh component and then set it based on the number. Very straightforward. And I can obviously expose that because it's public. I'm also going to expose that color and that number and that. And that. Right. Now that I have those done, we can start adding controllers in. So I could just edit these directly, but controllers let me do a little bit of a smarter thing with them. It's sort of like programming it with blueprints, but not really. So what I'm going to do is, there's some obvious ones I want, like the name, so I'm just going to drag those directly across. This is going to be first name, last name. Team 1 and Team 2 makes sense as well. The logo selector, that's fine. The color is where it's at. So if I drag one of these colors across, it doesn't even let me drag one across. That's weird. Alright, so I'll add a new one. Color, I'll call this team color. Gonna select it and hit bind. And then select the bind, and I'm running out of screen. That's not helpful. It's also not helpful. There we go. So I'm going to actually just bind it to all three colors. So now I can control all of them just with this one color control. Logo, I did add Team 1 and 2 I did add, didn't I? What does this bind to? Okay, perfect. Alright, I do need that value, this value, this value, this one, and this one. Alright, now I'm going to rearrange these. So this one is, if I just set 1, okay, so this is his passing. Actually, I just realized I don't need these. Yes. 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 This one is his rushing. And this will be his rating. Like so. So these equally, I've just set up a bit of a blueprint that lets me control these. So the design had this sort of outline and 2-step phase, which is somewhat tricky to do. So if I have a look in the blueprint here, so I have that set up using the bevel system, but for some reason I can't assign separate materials to them, or at least this doesn't work correctly. So I also have a material that's just taking the local position and sort of splitting it in half. That's how I'm getting this effect done. And then we're taking so this stuff does the materials, that stuff does the materials. This part, so it's taking whatever is in the sign variable and putting that at the end. So if I do yard, percentage, that kind of stuff goes there. Next we have the foreground text, which is just this number truncated, which is to say dropped the decimal places. So 33, and that's it. Then a little bit of complex math. I multiply both by 100, which gives me 2 decimal places. Or sorry, the decimal place moves to the right 2 times. I then subtract each other to get just the decimal place. So in this case, if I entered 33.2 times that by 100 gives me 3,320 minus this truncated version versus the full version gives me just 20, and then truncate that in case there's additional decimals, which in this case it isn't, and then append a full stop at the start and set that as a text, or if it's equal to 0, then don't have any text at all and move the percent closer. So a little complex perhaps, but that means, so it's 320, but if I type 32, I just get 32. Just the same if I type 800 or 88.725, it's just going to give me 72. So it works. Easy there. So that's how that system's set up. And they're just exposed as these variable values. All right, I think that's... Oh, the other thing is we obviously need to change the headshot here. So in the material designer, while I have remote control open, which I do here, select the material and then I can expose the texture. And then drop that in there. Just put it at the top, I guess. Now it does let you use an external image address, and that was working, and now it's not working. Like if I say pick Mahomes, it's like it was working here, but then in the rundown editor, it's not working. But anyway, I'll leave it like that. All right, now I've got just about everything I need. So I'm going to close that, and then I'm going to go ahead and create a new rundown. So that's Motion Designer, Motion Design Rundown. I'm going to call it MDR. Let's call this one, I guess, the Super Bowl. How you organize these is sort of up to you, but the way I imagine it being organized is a rundown per show, which is usually how other programs do it. So I'll have my Monday the 15th show, and then my Monday the 23rd show, and then my, like that. Now when I'm in here, I can go ahead and add a template and choose my graphic, which is just graphic 0. So the way this is laid out is here's all your maps and your graphics. So I might have a lower third, I might have full screen, I might have a AR graphic. They're all in here. The pages are all of the variations of that graphic you have. And then the page view at the very bottom is a mixture of the different pages of each of the graphics that form your actual show. I'll demonstrate, and then it hopefully becomes a little clearer. So I have my graphic here. I'm going to add a template. Whoops, no. Oh, and Control Z took the wrong one away. I'm going to add a page. There we go. So I'm going to call this one probably Mahomes. And then stats, I guess, because it's a stats graphic. So I can preview it and we'll see it. Okay, that looks fine. Mahomes' actual stats. Let's go to ESPN. Chiefs, Eagles. That is the... not the Super Bowl I wanted. Super Bowl 58. Here we go. Alrighty. So, for Mahomes, he got 333 yards for passing. He got... where's the other... oh, there it is, rushing. Got 66 yards rushing. No, that's rushing. What was his rating for the game? Receiving, fumbles, defense, intercepts. Click on him. .3. I'm pretty sure from memory that means rating. If it doesn't, I do apologize to any football fans out there. Alright. Didn't change. Why didn't it change? Because this is buggy as anything. Yes, close that. Save that. Okay, there we go. Alright, so there's Mahomes. Does this update in real time now? Yes, there we go. 99.3. There we go. Passing, rating, rushing. Perfect. Alright, and then I'm going to just go ahead and duplicate this. And then... oh, so headshots are working again? Apparently. Alright. Fill this one out. Brock Purdy? Is that how you say his name? Yeah, it is. Okay, so he got 255. This was a close game. Got 12 rushing yards. And if I go here, find his 89.3. Alright, and then he does not play for that team, he plays for San Francisco, and their colors, I'm going to say, whatever that creamy color is. I don't know if that works the best for this graphic, but anyway. Alright, there's Brock, and then I could keep going like that. Now, when I'm filled out all of this graphic, I move on to my next graphic and my next and my next, and then under here I can add a page view, and then I can just drag and drop these into here. So I could be like, okay, so my home stats, and then I want my full page one. I really should have done this with more than one graphic, but hopefully you get the idea. All right, I'm just adding this in to give some variation to this one. Alright, so then I'm going to add another template, and this is going to be my full screen graphic here. Okay. And then I can add a template, no, add a page for this one. Oh, they show up here as well. Oh, I guess this is all pages. Oh, alright, full screen. Why is that not ready for preview? Oh, it's because it hasn't been saved. There we go. Perfect. Alright, under here. Did I not just... Yeah. They exist. Do they not? They don't exist here. Alright. Well, if you don't set up controls or want to control something without a controller, you can hit properties here and it's supposed to show up. For example, if I expose, here's all the additional properties I exposed to remote control but didn't expose with a controller. This one for some reason is, oh no, there it is. We'll be right back. There we go. So just add that into the mix. Don't think this one has a in or an out animation. No, it does not. Preview in, yeah, it just appears. Cool. So maybe I do that, and then I go to Purdy. There. So then in here I can go. Okay, so we start with Mahomes, which we'll be right back. That's preview in. Okay, wait. Is it doing that? Oh, wait. Okay, that is very unclear. So it's the page I select here that this preview button works on. Not this page. Right. And then what I don't understand is there's like a button here, a button here, a button here, a button here, and that button. There's too many buttons, and this is a little poorly designed, I think. Okay, so that Mahomes, that Purdy, perfect. Loading off disk, they seem to flicker for a second. See, if I set these to internal assets, go. No, they do it anyway. Alright. Could also be a problem. Alright. I think we're ready to run a show now. I hope. To do that is the broadcast window, which I quite like. The updated version of this, because my Blackmagic device isn't hooked in, but this one now works, and you don't need to create a media profile or anything like that. It just works. The start client, the launch local server, and reset servers are a little bit of mystery to me still. Yeah, I think it's a way to control them over the network, but like you need to have the client running before the server, and I don't quite know if that makes sense. So when I figure that out, I will tell everyone. Let me plug my Thunderbolt device in. Alright, after fluffing about with Thunderbolt cables, because all the Thunderbolt cables are USB-C, but not all USB-C are Thunderbolt. Very stupid idea that was. There's two things you need to get this working. First of all, the Blackmagic or Aja or Bluefish or whatever card you're using plugin. And secondly, you need alpha through tone mapper enabled. Yep, there we go. Now, you're also going to need a card that supports fill and key, so that's the Ultra Studio HD, Ultra Studio 4K Mini, Ultra Studio, the big one, the 8K Pro card, the 4K Pro card, the Duo 2 and the Duo 4, the normal SDI 4K, as well as the mini monitor and mini recorder ones. Do not do it. Now, if you wanted to use those, you'd have to do like, maybe put a green or a blue plane behind the graphic, and then just literally key it. Alright. So now that we're ready for that, what we can do is we can hit the broadcast button here. We're brought to this view. As you can see, my Blackmagic device shows up here, Ultra Studio HD Mini. What I can do is I can just drag and drop that onto here. If I had more than one plugged in, I could add a new channel and add another one, and then when I'm in here, I can choose what channel each graphic plays out on, just in case I wanted more than one graphic, but for now, I'm just going to do the one. Clicking on it up here, I can choose my settings, so I'm going to do fill and key, 1080, 25, apply. Then start all channels, and we're ready to go to air. Back in the rundown page, what I can do is I can click on each graphic, and so we can preview them in and out like we saw before, and the material designer has been broken with these external references all of a sudden. So annoying. There we go. Might have to fix these up. That one's also broken. I don't want 30. And this one is just fine. Perfect. Alright, so when I'm happy with where it's at, I can hit the take to program button here, which will take my preview to program, or take button here, which will do the same thing. Hit it, and you'll see they go green, and we're on air. If I jump back over to my broadcast window, you can see I'm displaying this graphic, and as you can see in the video, I'll show you when I edit it, we're getting the fill and key, which lets me composite it over the top of some other footage. Now, if I had animations with markers set up, I could hit continue and it would sort of play out as well, but I don't. So what I can do though is I can take to next, which will just take to the next thing in my list. And I don't know what list that is. I assume it's this one, seeing as this list doesn't do anything, but I guess we'll find out. Yeah. So now we're on this one. And then take next, and we should be on the full screen. Perfect. And then take out, and it'll go to black, go back to our video. So I don't know what the purpose of these page views at the bottom are, but I might just remove it so I don't get confused. Perfect. So, I know that was a roundabout way. I think Avalanche still has a lot of a way to go. Like, internal compositing is not possible at the moment with Avalanche, and they don't plan on making that a thing for the initial release. And we're also missing a couple of other nice to haves, and you saw things were a bit buggy, so it's still being worked on, but hopefully this gives you an idea of where things are at, how things work, which is my main intention, I guess, for this video, and I'll see you in the next one.